everybody, and welcome to Western Oklahoma Sports Night. I'm Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog, here with you for another week of Western Oklahoma sports, and we are getting into the heat of the season, and that means that spring football is heating up all around Western Oklahoma. And being the voice of the Weatherford Eagles, I would be remiss not to start out with Weatherford Eagles football. And joining us today is Weatherford Eagles head coach, entering his second year as head coach, Taylor Sossamon. Coach, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, and I promise I do try to leave you alone during the off season, because I know you probably get your fill of me throughout the regular season with coaches interviews and different post game stuff. But spring football is upon us, and they always say in Western Oklahoma there's two seasons, football and spring football. So you guys are in the heart of it. But how's your off season been going?
I think we had a good off season. We have the in-school strength and conditioning, so our kids are, they're training and lifting year-round regardless of kind of what season it is. So I think it's been good.
Good. And I know you have headed up that strength and conditioning program even before you took the head coaching job. Do you delegate a little bit more now that you are the head coach, because you had so many responsibilities in that strength and conditioning director position?
Yeah, during the actual school year, I don't. I'm still in there. Actually, Grant Schamberg picked up one more hour of it, so I have one less than I've had in the past. But in the summer, down the road, maybe delegate some of the other sessions out. Coach Heidelbaugh's taking over the middle school session. He took that over last year, and some of the middle school coaches are going to be there to help him.
Yeah. Well, and you guys, I know that the season did not end how you wanted it to end, but I think it was a successful season. You had a lot of talent out on the field. This season will be a little bit of a rebuild or a reload, but what's the mentality of your team going into this spring ball season?
Yeah, well, I think our message to the kids is we don't worry about what other people think about, how we'll finish or what people's predictions are. We just want to prepare the best that we can and put the best version of us out there that we can.
Yeah. And, it was one of those situations last season, Coach, where, you could see kind of the tip of the iceberg where you thought, okay, this team's going to really put it together. Kind of ran into a buzzsaw in that first round of the playoffs. Talk about what it meant to kind of have the season end the way it did.
Yeah, it was heartbreaking to end the way that it did. Obviously, I think Bethany was a quality opponent, and they were better than us that night. They outplayed us and outcoached us as well. So I think when you play people of that caliber, you've got to have your best, and we didn't that night.
Yeah. And, it was, I'll be straight with you. It was a bit emotional for me, even though it was only the second season I've called Weatherford football, still to be at home and see those seniors play their final game there at Woody Roof Field. It was a tough night, but I know that with football coaches, and they always talk about, short memory, you have to turn around and be prepared to get a team fielded out there again, minus 20 plus seniors.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think that's just part of life, right? There's going to be ups and downs. You've got to learn how to handle them and move on. You can't lick your wounds for too long, even though it was an emotional deal losing that early.
Yeah. Well, and I tell you, when I look at the roster from last season, Coach, and I see so much of the experience that you lost, I also have to focus on some of the experience that you have coming back as well. And honestly, if you look at I guess it would be the tangibles, offensive and defensive line, you've got a lot of beef coming back on both sides of the line.
Yeah, we do. Everybody's focused on what we lost, and rightfully so. We lost a lot of really good players, but I think you're right. I think we have, especially on the offensive line, I think we have a lot of pieces coming back to set us up for success.
Yeah, and I think it all kind of starts with a couple of returning starters. I believe it would be Isaiah Raji and then also Lucas Bird, who who got time on the offensive line last season.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you start there. I think you add in Jace Rosencrantz, played quite a bit last season.
Yeah.
Then you add in guys like Austin Burkeen, the Willard twins. Briggs Cook was hurt all last season, so he's back to healthy now. I think there's a lot of pieces there.
Yeah, and one thing about Jace Rosencrantz is, I mean, he's going 6'4", 6'5", in the 280s, 290s, isn't he?
Yeah, he's every bit of that.
Yeah, and then the Willard twins, big wrestlers. And I'll tell you this much: I look back to my OU fandom, and I think one of my favorite defensive linemen had to have been Kelly Gregg, and his background was so much in wrestling. And you gotta love as a offensive coach, or a defensive coach too, to see those guys who also wrestle get in there, because generally, fundamentally, they're going to be able to do things that you might not normally expect.
No, I think you're right. I think they understand leverage and how to use their body, and they're not afraid of contact. They've been in a lot of close situations. So for sophomores, they're pretty well developed in that area.
Yeah. And then also, I would be remiss without mentioning, the loss of Cutler Rollins, who I'm guessing, I know he started the 2 seasons I've called Weatherford football. I'm assuming he started 4 seasons, as talented and big as he was.
Yeah, you're right. He started on the defensive line for us as a freshman, and then he's played a lot on both sides ever since.
Yeah. Also, forgot to mention Jordan Martinez. That's a player with some experience coming back. Will you utilize him particularly on one side, or will he kind of be playing both?
It's all up in the air right now. Everybody for our team practices both sides. I think Jordan's, he's a guy I'm excited about. I think he's capable of doing both things. So we'll see how it works out.
Seeing him at a couple of the soccer games and stuff, looks like he's starting to fill out a little bit and really kind of grow into his size, and he looks great. Before I just kind of going off of the offensive line and even into the defensive line, skill position wise, a lot of snaps graduated, but you, as you mentioned before we took to the air, a lot of experience coming back to some players who got some crucial time last season. Talk about some of those players that you'll utilize in the skill positions.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Like we said before, I think we lost a lot of really good players there, but we were able to rotate guys last season and get some guys some experience too. So I think we've got guys like Cooper Bryant, Jacoby Flynn, Hudson McCry. They all played a lot for us last year, and are guys that we're counting on to play a lot this year.
I told Cash and Skinner at graduation last Friday that I had submitted a request to OSSAA for a COVID year for him, so that we could try to get him back. Man, he's one of those players, Coach, that you would have loved to have been able to utilize him for multiple years.
No, you're exactly right. I wish he had come, maybe as a sophomore. He kind of came towards the end of his junior year, and by the middle end of his senior year, he had really figured it out. He's a guy that I wish we had, one more year with.
Yeah, he laughed at me when I said that. I was like, just so you know, I got declined. But anyways, but Jacoby Flynn really showed some promise last season as well. And, we nicknamed Cooper Bryant the Iceman because he just seems to be unshakable as far as being out there on the field and doing what he needs to do.
Sure. Yeah, nothing seems to phase Coop. He's the same guy every day, which I appreciate.
And then Hudson McCry, caught the winning touchdown, the security touchdown against Clinton in the Custer County conflict. So that was a big play for him. And he is seems like I've been watching him, for 4+ years, but a lot of skill there for him as well.
Yep, absolutely.
So running back, you have to replace a lot of reps there as well. Jackson Blackman, as well as Victor Garcia, and also Cash and Skinner. But Ty Short has carried the rock quite a bit as well, and he's going into his senior year.
Yeah, you're right. Ty, he probably had as many carries as the other 3 did, or close to it. He was one of the main guys back there last year. So he's a guy we're expecting big things from. I think Luke Downs is also competing for some reps back there in the backfield, and along with Riker Smith is a young guy, sophomore, kind of in the same mold. We don't have really the small quick backs, but we have big physical kind of downhill type guys back
Yeah.
there.
Will you try to utilize? I mean, I'm not trying to give away your game plan, but obviously get the ball to somebody like Jacoby Flynn in space and try to let him operate. I would. I mean, I'm not giving away any secrets there or anything.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think every year, offensively and defensively, you look at the personnel that you have coming back, and you know it's not like college where you can recruit guys into your system. You know,
Yeah.
your system has to evolve into the players that you have, and so I think Jacoby with the ball in space is something we really like.
Well, not to clue in anything, but I think there are some programs that are able to recruit
I,
into their system.
yeah,
I know you can't say anything, but I can.
yeah,
Uh,
right.
anyway, we're visiting with Weatherford football head coach Taylor Sossamon, entering year 2 of his tenure as the head signal caller and head coach of Weatherford Eagles football. Linebacker core coach, man, a lot of experience there. And I know I sound like a broken record, but what I'm trying to do is also emphasize that there are players that have worked against those guys or played with those guys that are coming back to, in particular, one Ty Short, who we mentioned in the running back spot, and then also Preston King, who you had said is a bit of a hybrid.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. I mean, losing guys like Steele Chisholm, Reno Hammonds, Jackson Blackman, Stone Chisholm, guys that played a lot of reps. Cash Jennings, guys that played
Mhm.
a ton of reps at linebacker for us the past 3 years is, I mean, it's hard to put into words how hard that is to replace. I mean, those are your primary tacklers, but you know, such is life. You have to, as those guys move on, we have to move on as well. And so I do think that we have some good potential at linebacker. I think there's lots of guys kind of competing for reps at that spot, and I think competition always brings out the best in us.
For sure. And you know, like I said, I've enjoyed I can go back 2 seasons and remember when Preston King you know, really did a good job shadowing and that quarterback for El Reno,
You bet.
you know, and preventing him from going off. But and then secondary, always a crucial part of the defense. And I know that you've got a heavy hand in that, but Cooper Bryant, really the lone starter coming back. It really I hated losing Luke Bruner to basketball, but even more so to football because he really started to come into his own late in the season.
Yeah, you're right. I hated losing Luke. I really liked Luke, and you know, kind of under the radar, he was really our third leading tackler, I think, or third or fourth last season. So he really had a tremendous impact on that team last year, and so it was kind of heartbreaking to lose him. But I think, you know, you mentioned Cooper. I think Cooper started a lot of games. Jacoby started a couple of games and played a lot for us. Hudson's another guy that played. He rotated quite a bit at corner last year, and he's kind of coming into his own out there. And then the other corner spot is really it's a competition right now. I think that we have several guys that could step up and do it though.
Yeah. And, you know, and talk about real quick as far as some of those spots and particularly the secondary. Uh, any freshmen that stood out from last season that'll come in and be able to contribute there, or will it kind of all be juniors and seniors?
Well, I'm glad you brought up that freshman class from last year. I
Yeah,
think that is a really good group. I think that's a really, you know, we talk to the kids all the time about the things they can control or their attitude and their effort. And I think overall, that is a group that is, they have a great attitude. They show up every time you expect them to be there, and they work really, really hard. So I'm not going to necessarily make predictions yet on, you know, who will end up
yeah,
playing from that class, but I like that class a lot. I think that they have potential kind of in every position group, and the secondary for sure.
yeah. So it, you know, it'll be interesting to see, and I know you guys have so much more work to do as far as, you know, really evaluating your team. And so, what will be the you're in spring ball right now? You know, is that seeing? Are you seeing some live action there? Or are you just kind of going through the system, or how is it working out for your spring ball?
Yeah, I think you've got to walk the fine line. I mean, we want to get everything installed. We want to practice, set the tone for how we want to practice, but at the same time, you don't want to beat each other up in the spring. I mean, it's part of football's, you know, who's the healthiest at the end. So I think getting the horses to the race is kind of the most important thing at this point. But we're just trying to get everything installed and, learn the system and feel each other out and kind of see who steps up at each position.
Yeah. Well, and I know it's a process, and I know there's a whole lot going on, and then you have other things going on throughout the summer. What will you be having your team involved with?
Yeah, we're going to a team camp on May 29th at Chickasha. It'll be Duncan Altus, Chickasha, and us. It's just a one-day deal from like 10 to 1, kind of some live periods. And then I think we're going to play a quarter against one of the other teams with a running clock. So nothing crazy, probably not going to the ground, just trying to thud and get some good reps against somebody else that's, not us.
Sure.
Then we're going to 2 7-on-7s at Kingfisher. We'll go to 2 at Clinton, and then we will host 2 the week after Dead Week. We've got Iron Eagle starting June 9th, and it will run until, let me see, I think it runs until the last week in July. And then, our football guys, it never really ends for them. We make them keep coming to work out even after that deal ends. So, pretty busy summer, but such is life these days for kids.
That's what we live for, isn't it?
When I was a kid, summer was a break. It's not really a break anymore. They've got stuff going on all the time.
For sure. And also, last question, Coach, next to last question, Weatherford youth football. I know I overheard that they were doing signups for youth football, things like that. How early do you kind of give your input to football in the city of Weatherford and Weatherford schools?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think the more that, we can be involved with them, probably the better it'll be down the road. I also think that, guys sign up to coach football and, they need autonomy too. So I really would just like to be a resource for them. If they have questions about, our terminology or, how we practice or drills or stuff like that, we're an open book for them. But as far as what they do, I mean, they have complete control over it at this point. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, however involved they want me to be, I
Sure.
would like to be.
Good deal. And then also the Weatherford Athletics Hall of Fame Scramble coming up this Friday, and Right Media, the entity I work for that calls your games. We've got a team involved, but talk about all the prep and everything that the coaching staff has to get ready for this Hall of Fame weekend.
Yeah, this is a big weekend for Weatherford Athletics, probably our biggest fundraiser of the year. And I think people know at this point that Weatherford Athletics is primarily funded through fundraising and ticket sales. So this is a big deal for us. We hope that as many people are involved as we can get. Our role as coaches is really just to get people, signed up for the tournament, to get auction items, to get people to sign up and do a whole sponsorship, things like that. I think we've all kind of contributed in those areas.
Now, I didn't get asked to donate any podcast time with the Law Dogs, so I'm a little disappointed in your coaching staff this year.
It's not too late. We can get you on there,
Up.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it sounds like a blast, and we're going to be out there Friday morning at Prairie West Golf Course, ready to lose some golf balls off in the woods and the drink and everything. And then also they will have the banquet and the awards banquet. A lot of great athletes and a great team. I believe maybe the last state championship baseball team I think Weatherford has fielded being honored tonight. I think I should have it in front of me. I think it was 2009 possibly, but anyways, we'll put out a list on our Facebook page for all of that, but it'll be a great night and as well in a silent auction. So a lot of great things going on with Weatherford sports, and really, Kyle Knoll is the athletic director, but everybody always looks to the football coach. So you've got that up on him. Yeah,
well, I think people are used to the athletic director and the football coach maybe being the same person. It was like that here for a long time, but no, I think Coach Knoll's doing a great job.
as long as you don't have to field those phone calls asking for media requests.
Yeah.
All right. Well, listen, Coach, thank you so much for your time, and we appreciate getting to catch up with you. And we're looking forward to following your off season, and then also getting the season started. It'll be here before you know it.
Yep, it will.
All right. He's head coach of the Weatherford football team, Taylor Sossamon, and I am Chuck Ramsey, the Law Dog. This has been Western Oklahoma Sports Night. Be sure and subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter X at Law Dog Sports. And then also you can follow the podcast page on Spotify at Law Dog Sports. Be safe out there. Don't text and drive, and sure don't drink and drive. And we'll talk to you real soon.